Welcome to the English class. Okay, let us go through the poem The Psalm of Life. First, we will look at the poet. Our poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Okay, he is the poet of this great poem. We will look at the poem later on, but let us know something about the poet. He was born in Portland, Maine on February 27, 1807. It was then a part of Massachusetts. As a second son to his family. His father, Stephen Longfellow, was a prominent Portland lawyer and later a member of the Congress. So after graduating from Bowdoin College, Longfellow studied modern languages in Europe for 3 years. And he returned back to teach them. And at this time, he published his first book, a description of his travels called Outermar, that means overseas. That means his traveling over the seas. Later, Longfellow took a position at Harvard University in 1836. He started teaching there, and 3 years later there he published his first collection of poems, Voices of the Night, followed by ballads and other poems in 1841. Many of these poems, and let us take our poem, A Psalm of Life, showed people triumphing over adversity, and in a struggling young nation, that theme was inspiring. Okay. And immediately his 2 books became popular, and Longfellow's growing duties stopped him, as a professor he did more than writing poems. And later Longfellow, in 1847, he published his Evangeline, a book-length poem, a very long poem about what would we now be called ethnic cleansing. The poem takes place as the British drive the French from Nova Scotia, and 2 lovers are parted only to find each other years later when the man is about to die. This was something he wrote. And in 1854, Longfellow decided to quit teaching to devote his all time to his poetry. He published Hiawatha, a long poem about Native American life, The Courtship of Miles Standish, and other poems. With the country moving towards civil war, he wrote Paul Revere's Ride, a call for courage in the coming conflict. Okay. And when a civil war ended in 1865, his most important work was finished, but his fame kept on growing. In London alone, uh, 24 different companies were publishing his work. So such was a great poet he was, and he was a poet in demand at in his times. Uh, so his poems were very famous throughout the English speaking community, and they were widely translated also, making him most famous American of his day. So his admirers were Abraham Lincoln, Charles Dickens, and Charles Baudelaire. So that was his fame. And in he died in 1882 on March 24, after publishing his 7 more books of poetry. Okay. So after the death, Walt Whiteman, he is also a famous poet. He wrote about our Henry Wadsworth Longfellow that Longfellow's work brings nothing offensive or new, does not deal hard blows. He was the sort of the bard most needed in the materialistic age. So this was something said by Walt Whiteman about our great poet. He comes as the poet of melancholy, courtesy, and difference. And he is a poet of all sympathetic gentleness. And he is a universal poet of women and young people. And I should have to think long if I were asked to name the man who has done more in the more valuable directions for America. This was something said by Mr. Walt Whiteman. So this was something about our poet. So whatever you will know his greatness in the poem. Okay. Right. Now let us come to the poem. Okay. So first let us go for the title of the poem. Here is the poem. It's a psalm of life. Okay. First, let us know the meaning psalm. P is silent there and it is psalm. Psalm is a sacred song or hymn in particular. Okay, it is a sacred song or hymn in particular. So here it's a hymn of life. It's the hymn of life. And okay, so psalm can be called as any religious song. So here it is universal, because life is universal for everyone. So here psalm means a universal song here. Okay, a hymn that is universal, you can say. Okay, so this is something, a hymn of life. Now let us look at the summary of the poem. There is a subtitle for the poem. Okay, what the heart of the young man said to the psalmist. This is something. Okay, so here we can take a biblical reference also. A young man is speaking to the composer of the biblical psalms. Biblical psalms means religious hymns here, religious psalms here. So it is in the form of a dramatic monologue, we say, because a single person, the young man, is speaking. So a young man is speaking to the composer of psalms, biblical psalms. But I already told you the theme is universal. We can look at the poem, you will understand. So the first stanza: tell me not in mournful numbers, life is but an empty dream. For the soul is dead that slumbers, and things are not what they seem. So, first, the speaker or the young man says, he is begging the psalmist, tell me not in mournful numbers, life is but an empty dream. Not to sing to him in numbers, in numerous ways, in numerous sorrowful ways, about how is life is empty and unreal. So he says, don't tell me that life is empty. It is filled with sorrow. Mournful numbers means number of mournful things. Okay, so life, don't tell me that life is empty, and don't tell me that life is of mournful numbers. Life is full of sorrow. Here, in the speaker's opinion, the soul that passively experiences the life is essentially dead. Okay, for the soul is dead that slumbers, that means that sleeps. Slumber is to take a sleep, or that is not active, the soul that is not active. So if your soul, for the soul is dead that slumbers, if your soul is not active, then you are assumed that you are dead. Okay, and this is somewhat from the Christian perspective also, that it's just a precursor to eternal life after death, and things are not what they seem. So here, what you see in the life are not as they seem to you. Okay, why? Because here the poet believes in the life after death. Okay, you will come across this in the next stanzas. So what the things you see, the soul that is not active, or the soul that is passive to the life experiences. So when is the soul passive to the life experiences? When it is dead. So when the person is dead and things are not what they seem, so we feel that the person has gone, but things are not like that. There is certain, our life is eternal, our soul is eternal, there is a life after death. So what we see, perceive with our naked eye is not there. Something that is different is also there. So this the poet says. Life is real, life is earnest, and the grave is not its goal. Dust thou art, to dust returnest, was not spoken of the soul. Here, life is real. He says that our life is very much real, and it is filled with meaning. There is a meaning in our living. Okay, sincere and intense. Our life is sincere, it is intense to be lived, and the grave is not its goal. Our life is worth living, and our life's end goal should not be our death. Okay, we are not living for our death. So the meaning of not life is simply death, because something that is born is dead. That is the truth. That is born, something that is born is dead. That's the truth. But when you are coming to life, it does not mean that your aim should be dying. So before dying, there is much to do. So before dying, live an active life. Okay. Dust thou art, to dust returnest. Here, the poet means that the humans come from the earth or the dust. We are organic beings. We come from the earth or dust, and it is an art created by the God. Dust the art. So God has used all his art to create the human beings. So with that unmatched okay, unmatched art, we have come to this world, and we have come from the earth, we have come from the dust, and to dust returnest. So in the end, we return to the dust. How? When a person dies, he is generally uh, the human body decomposes, and after some days it becomes the soil. It is mixed with the earth. We can't recognize whether this is a human body particle or the earth soil. So it completely mingles with the dust. So we are returning to the dust. Even if you take the Hindu philosophy, what happens? They are not cremated, but they are burned. So they also become dust. Okay, the flesh becomes dust. So in right, so we are made of such a great art from the dust, and we are returning back to the same dust. So from dust to dust. Okay, dust to dust is in between there is a life. Dust is the beginning, dust is the end, but in between there is a span of life, and was not spoken of the soul. So what the speaker says is our body perishes, but you can't speak the same thing of the soul. Soul is the eternal being. Okay. Why? Because the poet believes that when a person dies, his flesh, his body, it is changed to dust. But what about the soul? The soul that is inherent in every being is permanent, is eternal. So we cannot speak these words about the soul. Okay, I think you have understood what I said. And our soul always should be full of life. This is what he means. Now let's look at something more. Not enjoyment and not sorrow is our destined end or way, but to act that each tomorrow find us farther than today. So this is something the poet says. Not enjoyment, okay? Not enjoyment and not sorrow. We should not indulge in enjoyment, or we should not think about our sorrows. We should not take them to our mind. If you are enjoying, it's a time you enjoy. But don't take to your brain. Sorrow and enjoyment should be same for you. And it is our destine, end or way. Here he questions, declares that we should not, rather declares humans should act in such a manner that we progress day by day. It is sorrow is not our end, happiness is not our end. This is not something that we are looking for. This is not our destination. Sorrow is not destination, and enjoyment is not destination. Because let's think, let's have more light on this part. You feel happy today, okay? You feel happy for a moment today. Is it permanent for you? The happiness is not permanent for you. The next day you come across some sorrow. So happiness and sorrow both are a part of life, and both are not permanent. So if your journey is towards happiness, then at certain point of time your journey will end up and there will be sorrow, and again you get worried. If you are searching for sorrow, so if your destination is sorrow, then what about ever happiness? Do you end your life when you get sorrow, or do you end your life when you get happiness? No. So it is a part of a life. Enjoyment and sorrow both are a part of life, and it is not our destination at all. And but to act that each tomorrow find us farther than today. So, but instead of looking at sadness and happiness, we need to act. The poet urges us to act, to come into action, make deeds. Here, action means do deeds that each tomorrow find us farther than today. So, how your deed should be, that is also defined by the poet. So, our deeds should be in such a way that the tomorrow is better than today, or our deeds should be directed in such a way that each tomorrow is a progress than today. That means every tomorrow is something greater than today. Those should be our deeds. So that's the poet wants to say. So that in those ways, into that direction, our action should be done. Okay. Otherwise, what happens? Our life, we won't look for tomorrow. Okay. We should always look for a greater tomorrow, and for that we need to act. That is the poet wants to say. And look at another part of the poem. Okay. This is a very much quoted line. Art is long and time is fleeting, and our hearts, though stout and brave, still like muffled drums are beating funeral marches to the grave. Okay, this is the eternal truth, the poet here says. So, our creativity, our acts, and what we produce, the actions and the creativity of human actions last for a long time. Okay, but look at the time. Time is fleeting, it is passing very quickly, it is flying away like anything, while our hearts, though stout and brave. Here the poet says we are stout, we are brave enough, we are strong and courageous. We are facing the human life. We are strong enough to face the sorrows, to face the happiness, everything that comes, we are fighting in our lifetime. But so in this fight towards our life, when in leading our life, it is better to say in leading our life, we are stout and we are brave. We are standing stout, we are not running back. We are courageous enough, but still, like muffled drums, are beating funeral marches to the graves. So, after every passing day, okay, after every passing day, we are moving closer to our death. Okay, with every passing day, one day of our life is gone, and we are moving closer to our grave, to our death. How we are moving closer, like muffled drums. Here he is comparing with muffled drums. Like these are quiet drums, quieted drums within our bodies. Okay, and ultimately with each beat, with each every passing day, we are nearing our grave. So the songs of these herds produce are like the funeral marches. Here the writer, the poet is saying funeral marches. Why? Because uh, for every passing day we are nearing the death, and we are with how we are nearing the death with muffled drums, with quieted drums of our heartbeat. Our heartbeat is compared to the muffled drums. Our heart is beating like muffled drums. They are quiet, our heartbeat is also quiet. So the songs produced by such kind of hearts, instead of saying such kind of hearts, it is every heart we can say, because everyone is moving closer to the death. So the song produced by each heart is like a funeral march. Okay, our songs are like funeral marches. Why? Because we are moving closer to the death. Right. In the world's broad field of battle, in the bivouac of life, be not like dumb driven cattle, be a hero in the strife. So, here in the world's broad battlefield, okay, here the poet compares the life to the battlefield. We are in the world's battlefield. We are fighting a battle in this big world. In bivouac of life, do not like dumb driven cattle. Be a hero in the strife. So, in this great battlefield where the life is temporary, and here in the battlefield the soldiers fight the battle, is it? Yes, the soldiers fight the battle, and they live in the camps. The soldiers live in the camps. So these camps are temporary, they are not a permanent shelter. In the same way, in this world, our life is also temporary. What we are leading, what we are leading the life is temporary. Something different is permanent, and he told that permanent is soul. So we are the soldiers. Okay, we are the soldiers in the world battlefield, and we don't have a permanent place here, permanent shelter here. Okay, someday we need to go. As the soldier quits after the battle is over, they move to some other own shelter or some other place. Okay, in the same way, we also leave the place and we move to our own place, original place. That is, our soul moves to the God. Okay, that is our belief. So therefore, here the poet commands us not to be silent. Okay, not to be silent like dumb driven cattle. Generally, the cattle is driven by the herdsman. Okay, they won't speak anything. Simply wherever the herdsman drive the cattle, they move. So, but we should not be like that, like the dumb driven cattle. Okay, but instead we should be a hero in the strife. Rather, be a hero in the strife. Strife is fight, our quarrel in the life's fight. Be a hero, fight your life. Okay, don't be driven by someone, but fight this battle of life. Don't bring in sadness, don't get depressed. Whenever sorrow comes to you, don't get depressed, but like a hero, you fight that sorrow. Take your life as a challenge and show success in your life. That the poets want to say. So be yourself a hero in this conflict of life. Life is full of conflicts. And let's look at the next one. Trust no future, however pleasant. Let the dead past bury its dead. Act in the living present, heart within and God overhead. So, what the poet says, trust no future. So, there is no certainty in your future. Whether tomorrow comes, we don't know. Okay, this you know that today we are living, tomorrow we may not be there. So, don't think of tomorrow. So, tomorrow is uncertain. And no matter how positive the future may seem, your future, you think my future is bright, you may have positive attitude of life, but don't think of something future. Okay, don't trust on the future, however pleasant. You may think that you have a positive future, you may have a good future, but don't think on that. And let the dead past bury its dead. And additionally, he says that don't dwell on the past. Okay, don't dwell on the past and bury it dead. Don't think of the past. Something happened in the past, leave it. Don't think of it anymore. So he says, act in the living present. Here the poet says to act, to work, to do good deeds in the living present. Think of the present. The present is yours. The past is not yours because it has gone. You can't change your past life. It has gone. And the future is uncertain. You don't know about the future when it comes, or you don't know about tomorrow whether it comes or not. So think of the present. Don't rely on the past or don't rely on the future, but live in the living present. Your present is living. You are living your present life. So think of today. So here he is using the word living present. Now you are living your present. Your day today, your day is yours. So that's why act on this day. And heart within and go God overhead. So he says to live in the present, to do deeds in the present wholeheartedly. Heart within. Here it means wholeheartedly, with your whole heart. Put your whole energy, heart, your concentration into that. Okay. And be one with what you are doing. Okay. You mingle with what you are doing. So concentrate on that. And God overhead. So have belief on the God. So this God, he is overhead. That means we believe that the God is in the sky or heaven or somewhere. Okay, it's in the overhead. So he is watching your acts from the heaven. Let's call heaven. So the God is watching you all the time. So that's why you wholeheartedly work, he says. Lives of great men all remind us we can make our life sublime, and departing leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. So, very quoted lines are these. Lives of great men all remind us. If you think of the great people, they remind you, they inspire you. Here, the poet wants to say that they inspire you to consciously live in godly and spiritual manner. Your deeds should be great. Okay, we can make our life sublime. So we can make our life turn our life into good deeds. Okay, so our lives can be godly and spiritual, full of moral values. So if you don't have any moral values, you can't reach the sublimity. So it should be full of moral values. Moreover, and departing leave behind us. So the souls which have departed from us, the great men we are saying, the great people who have departed with us. Departed means separated with us, though left us. Okay, this is easy for us. Left us. Leave behind us footprints on the sand of time. They will leave their traces. So they left something for us, and we can follow their traces. Okay, so like think of great men. Many thousands of thousands, crowds of people have come and they went away, but some are remembered for their greatness. Think of Gandhiji, think of Subhash Chandra Bose. They are remembered for their greatness. They have led an exemplary life. We can take those lives as examples. Okay, so they departed from us, still they left something, a great legacy for us to follow. So we can follow that. So that footprints on the sands of time. So on the sand of time, they have left something, their marks. Footprints here means marks, and by that we are remembering them till today. Okay, we are remembering them. And here another thing, most important thing, sands of time. Here sands of time means our footprints are not permanent. Okay, our footprints are not permanent. So in the same way, every soul's footprint is not permanent. Even after a long years, after hundreds and thousands of years, these people may also be forgotten. But still, you should take them as example, and you live a great life. That's what the poet wants to say. And the next, footprints that perhaps another, sailing over life solemn main. Okay. A forlorn and shipwrecked brother, seeing shall take heart again. So here, footprints that perhaps another. So our people, they left something, they inspired us to do. So let us take the lives of those great men as inspiration, and with that inspiration, let us sail our lives. Here is comparing the life to a great ocean, and we are sailing in that great ocean. So, and as main journey, I have to carry out this main journey. A forlorn and shipwrecked brother, seeing shall take the heart again. So you should lead such a life that a depressed person, okay, a person who is depressed, here see, I already told you life is compared to ocean, and we are sailing that life of ocean. So like us, there are many people who are sailing the life of ocean. Okay, this life. So they may be shipwrecked. Shipwrecked means they may be uh, in trouble in a ship. Their ship may have been destroyed. They are unable to complete their journey. So you should stand as an example for these people, and you should complete their journey. They should take you as an example, and they should follow you, and those people should complete their journey. Okay, so you take example, inspire yourselves from the great people, then you lead an exemplary life, and your life should also be an example for the shipwrecked brothers, means our fellow human beings who are in trouble, who are unable to face the life's challenges. Okay, some people are unable to take up the life challenges. For those people, you should stand as an example. Here it means seeing shall take the heart again. That means they should live their life. Okay, they should not leave their life. They should not end their life. Here the poet suggests. And okay, now the most let us then be up and doing. So he requests all the humanity, and he advises also, let us start, then be up and doing. So let's start, and start, act. Let's do the work. Let's lead the journey of life with a heart for any fate. So work, you do your work, you do your deeds, but don't think of any fate, whatever the fate may be. Okay, whatever fate comes to you, you accept it. This is also said in Bhagavad Gita, do your karma. Okay, do your karma, and the fruits will appear to you. The fruits will be, if you whatever you sow, you reap that. Okay, in the same way life is also, if you lead a good life, if you do good deeds, you are blessed with good things. Okay, so don't do good things, but don't think of the fate. So here it resembles the sayings of our Lord Krishna, still achieving, still pursuing. So there shouldn't be any end for what you do. You should be doing, achieving and pursuing. You should be going on living the life. Okay, learn to labor and to wait. So learn to labor, do lot of hard work. Don't think that something will come to you without hard work. Something, if you won't do anything, nothing will come to you. So learn to labor, learn to work hard and to wait. The most important thing is to wait. Don't think of the fruits of your labor immediately. The God is there, He is looking at you, and whenever time comes, He will award you with those fruits. Okay, so that's why this is the most important line, learn to labor and to wait. So work hard, do your karma, do your deeds, and wait. The God is there seeing you. He will give you with His, whenever the time comes, He will provide you with His blessings. Okay, this is something said by the poet. Actually, in this poem, the poet says that the life is not permanent, what we are not living is permanent, and our soul is eternal being. Okay, and he also says about time passes, it won't stand for anyone. So live in the present and redeem yourself and save others also. And don't live an empty life. Okay, living life to the fullest. You live life to the fullest, and this nourishes the soul. And if you are not doing something with your soulful heart, so with open heartedly, so those fruits are not achieved by you. Okay, this is something the poet is saying here. And this it's a very long poem, beautiful poem, and it gives uh, a kind of solace to the people who are in despair. Okay, the people who are in despair. So it gives a lot of solace to the people, and also it uh, stresses on the life after death. So this is something the poet wants to say. So with this we'll end our poem. Thank you once again. I hope you understand the poem, and we will look at the question answers and remaining part of the poem, the other parts, appreciation of the poem, because it's a lengthy poem and it needs a lot of explanation. We could not complete in this lesson. So in the next class probably we'll take the essence, that is appreciation of the poem, and some question and answers for you that may appear in your board examination. Okay, thank you.